Hare Krishna. So in the previous 4 shlokas, we have seen what all yogi is doing to start practicing Ashtanga Yoga. So in shloka number 11 and 12, we saw that the person goes to a secluded place and that place has to be sacred, holy. And after that, he goes there and sets up his own asana. He'll put deer skin, soft cloth, kusha grass. And after doing all that, he'll make sure that it is not too high nor it is too low. And then he'll sit on it and focus his mind on one point. Now, what is that one point? That is given in shloka number 13 and 14. So here it says that one point is nasikagram, the tip of the nose. So he's pointing towards that, he is focusing on that. And at the same time, it is recommended here that body, neck and head should be in straight line, when the person is sitting on the asana. And he has to make sure that his mind remains unagitated. He should make sure that he abstain from any sex indulgence in terms of thoughts, words and deeds. And at the same time, it is said that his only meditation should be on the Supreme. Now, continuing the same theme, what other things he is supposed to do and what is his destination, what is he aiming at, what will he attain? So let's see this in shloka number 15. Yunjan evam sadatmanam yogi niyatamanasah shantim nirvana paramam matsthanam matsamstham adigacchati. So here it is given that Yunjan evam sada atmanam. Yunjan, practicing. So what practicing? Practicing all that we just spoke. From shloka number 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever was spoken, all that. Practicing all this. How his practice should be? Sada. Constant practice. Constant practice of Atmanam. Atmanam here actually stands for all the three. Body, mind and Atma. Body, mind and soul. Who is supposed to do this? A yogi is doing this. That's what we are seeing, a transcendentalist. Niyata manasaha. And he should regulate his mind, control his mind. So by doing all this, what will happen? Mat samstham adigacchati. So mat samstham, that person adigacchati, attains what? Mat samstham, the spiritual abode, the spiritual realm. By shantim nirvana paramam, by cessation of all material existence. So here it is said whatever practice is there, that has to be done constant, involving body, mind and soul at all the three levels. And then he'll be able to attain what destination? The ultimate destination, that is spiritual sky, by cessation of all material existence. So let's see in detail what the shloka is talking about. Yoga practice is not meant for attaining any kind of material facility. It is to enable the cessation of all material existence. One who seeks an improvement in health or aspires after material perfection is no yogi according to Bhagavad Gita, nor does cessation of material existence entails one's entering into the void, which is only a myth. There is no void anywhere within the entire creation of the Lord. So when it comes to yoga, nowadays this yoga word is very famous. People talk about it. And few asanas they do and they say that I am doing yoga. And what is the goal of that? To keep the body fit. But that is not the goal. It's very clear here. Mat samstham adigacchati and shantim nirvanam paramam. So what is the goal? Goal is not to keep one's body fit by practicing yoga. The goal is to attain the ultimate destination, to attain the spiritual realm by cessation of the material existence. Sometimes people have weird thoughts, weird things they think. That okay, by practicing this yoga, one is taking care of the health. The other aspect people think is, okay, by practicing this yoga, I'll actually get into void. Now what is void? What is meant by void? Zero. What is there as zero? There is nothing. It's very clearly given here. There is no void anywhere within the creation of the Lord. But still, very, very weird. People think about, oh, there is something void and I'll get into it. The cessation of material existence enables one to enter into spiritual sky, the abode of the Lord. So what is the cessation of material existence? It's all about spiritualizing all our activities. Our entire existence should be spiritualized by practicing spirituality. So here it's given that the abode of the Lord is also clearly described in Bhagavad Gita as that place where there is no need of sun, moon or electricity. So when we are saying that the person can go into the abode or attain the abode of the Lord, so what is the description that is given of the abode of the Lord? This comes in chapter 15, shloka number 6, which says, "Na tad bhashayate suryo na shashanko na pavakah yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama." So Krishna is actually telling Arjuna that, oh Arjuna, I have a very, very wonderful abode. You know what is the amazing facts of this spiritual world, my abode? He says that natad bhashayate suryo na shashanko na pavakah. He says that there in the spiritual world, in my abode, there is no need of surya, shashanka, moon, and pavakah, fire or electricity. So there is no need of all this in spiritual world. And the best thing, oh Arjuna, the best thing is, yadgatvana nivartante, anyone who comes to my abode, tadhama paramamma, anyone who comes to my abode, yadgatvana nivartante, will never come back to this material world. So this is a very amazing thing that Krishna is telling, that every living entity, or especially human beings, forget about the lower species, at least human beings should aspire to go back home, back to Godhead. And that is what is the goal of all the yoga systems. Not just Ashtanga Yoga, not any other yoga, or even when it comes to Bhakti Yoga, all the yogas are aiming at only one thing. But then, Ashtanga Yoga, we see that how difficult it is, because all artificial on the bodily platform, and then it goes to gross bodily platform, then it comes to the subtle bodily platform, and then finally the person gets some peace, shanti. But when it comes to devotional service, when it comes to bhakti, the goal itself is the abode of the Spirit, abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And the meditation is also the same. There is no extra thing that is done. So the meditation is on the name, form, qualities and pastimes of the Lord. And that's what is there in spiritual abode. So in this way, there is no much endeavor when it comes to bhakti yoga. It's very, very natural. Very, very natural. So it is given here that all the planets in spiritual kingdom are self-illuminated like the sun in the material sky. So all the planets are self-illuminated, and the source of all the illumination there is Supreme Lord Himself. The bodily effulgence coming from the Lord that illuminates everything there. And at the same time here, as it is given, that every single planet is also self-illuminated. A consummate yogi who is perfect in understanding Lord Krishna, as is clearly stated herein by Lord Himself, Matchitta, Matpara, Matsthanam, can attain real peace and can ultimately reach his supreme abode, Krishna Loka, known as Goloka Vrindavan. So it's very clear, anyone who understands Krishna, that person becomes eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti. So Arjuna. So Krishna is telling this very, very clearly, that anyone who understands my transcendental birth and activity, such a person will surely go back home, back to Godhead, or surely come back to me. So this statement that he has made. So understanding Krishna, to serve Krishna, that is what is the goal of life. That's what we are supposed to do even now. And here it is given, Goloka eva nivasatya akhilatma bhutaha. The Lord, although residing always in his abode called Goloka, is the all-pervading Brahman and the localized Paramatma as well by dint of his superior spiritual energies. No one can reach spiritual sky or enter into Lord's eternal abode without the proper understanding of Krishna and its plenary expansion, Vishnu. So when it comes to this Brahman and Paramatma, we've been discussing this quite in so many videos now. So Brahman and Paramatma, they are subordinate to Bhagavan. So we have Bhagavan realization as the topmost, then Paramatma, and then comes the Brahman realization. So Bhagavan, Paramatma and Brahman. So it is said that the Lord who is there, He is actually the source of all that. And it's very clear, who can go back home back to Godhead? That person who has understood Krishna. That's what we discuss now. Janma karme chame divyam. Therefore, a person working in Krishna consciousness is the perfect yogi because his mind is always absorbed in Krishna's activity. Savai manha Krishna padara vindayoho. See, in this particular shloka we said, Shantim nirvana paramam. So, cessation of material existence. So, the person has to artificially do that first to come to the higher aspects or higher levels of this practice of Ashtanga Yoga. But when it comes to devotional service, when it comes to bhakti, there is nothing called as reject this first, then accept this second. No. It's all about accept doing or accept Krishna in life, accept the process of bhakti, and automatically other things will go away. So, bhakti is all about getting attached to Krishna, getting attached to various aspects of Lord Sri Krishna. And once we get attached, detachment is just a byproduct of that. There is no extra endeavor that is needed, like that is needed here in Ashtanga Yoga. So it is said here that show a devotee is a perfect yogi because he is already doing it. He is already focusing his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. He is focusing his mind on name, form, qualities and pastimes of Krishna. So he is already a perfect yogi. Finally, it is said, in other words, perfection of yoga system is the attainment of freedom from material existence and not some magical jugglery or gymnastic feats to befool innocent public. Actually, to be very frank, here there is one word called Shantim, that is peace. Now, to be very blunt, when it comes to Ashtanga yogis, they aspire to get some mystical power, where they can fly in the air, walk on the water and all that. For what? Just to impress people. So, it is said in one of the scriptures called Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Ashanta Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ataiva Shanta. So here it is said Bhukti. Bhukti, a person who is aspiring for material gains, a person who is doing karma kanda or sakama karma yoga, such a person. He wants some material gains. Bhukti, Mukti, the jnani, he is aspiring for merging into the existence of the Lord, that is Brahman. So he has that desire, where he just wants to get rid of all the problems of this world. And Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami. Who is Siddhi Kami? Is Ashtanga Yogi. Siddhi Kami, he is actually aspiring for what? Some siddhis. I want some siddhis. There are 8 mystic powers, starting from Anima, Laghima, Prapti, Shita, Vashita. These are there, where the person can become smaller than the smallest, greater than the greatest, and so on. So if suppose, by the way, let me finish this now. Siddhi Kami, so he's aspiring for these 8 mystic powers. So all of them, they're aspiring for something, so they're always agitated within. Oh, I want this, I want this, I want this. But when it comes to Krishna Bhakta, devotee, what is he doing? Krishna Bhakta Nishkama, he does not have any material desire. He has only one desire, one spiritual desire, that I want to attain Krishna, I want to serve Krishna. With this one spiritual desire, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama, Sada eva shanta. He is always peaceful. So, one thing is very clear. If someone is practicing Ashtanga Yoga, then he should make sure that he does not have that desire to attain Siddhi. If that is there, then he will never attain this. Mat samstham adhigacchati. This will never happen. He will never be able to attain the eternal abode of the Lord. So, in this way we understand that how an Ashtanga Yogi is also aiming at the ultimate destination, but then unfortunately when he gets some material desires of getting some siddhi, everything becomes flop. But a devotee, right from start, his aspiration is very clear. Right from day one, his aspiration is very clear that he has to attain Krishna, go back home back to Godhead and serve Krishna for Krishna's pleasure. So after speaking this particular verse, now Krishna is going to give some practical tips to all these yogis. If you really want to practice Ashtanga Yoga, oh yogis, you are supposed to do this, this, this. So that all this is given in next shloka. So let's see that in the next video. Hare Krishna.